How did we get reserve grand champion in our first ever barbecue competition? Let's show you how we did it.
And up, follow the smoke to the sky.
There we go.
Being that this was our first ever barbecue competition, I spent more time working on the food and less time filming. I wish that I had spent a little bit more time behind the camera, but this was our first go at it, and I really wanted to focus on the food. With that being said, there were 4 categories we were competing in for this contest. We were competing in ribs, shoulder, chicken, and ribeye. First up, we have the ribs. Tommy, Ross, and Dustin took on the ribs, but the first thing we did with these baby backs was we removed the membrane behind it. We got rid of some of the fat that lives on top. We rubbed this down the night before, wrapped it in saran wrap, and stuck it in the cooler. We did this for 3 racks of ribs because we had to make sure we had 6 of the best bites we could turn in. We smoked this over a blend of hickory and apple. We laid them on as straight as we could, and we got all 3 racks on before disaster almost struck.
Pan and sell it to people.
Rib juice, uncooked.
Anybody want some uncooked rib juice for marinade?
Oh. One too many people. Hold on.
4 grown men on the back of this trailer was enough to tip it up. Thanks to our neighbor for helping us pick the grill back up. That could have been a lot worse than it was. Once these ribs were smoking, we started laying out beds of aluminum foil with honey, brown sugar, and butter. Being a competition, we wanted these to look perfect. We picked off any burnt pieces on the bones, and Ross had a secret trick that he knew the judges would love.
And then you gotta salt bay it. Salt bay.
Whatever you say.
Man, I don't know who did these ribs, but I can definitely tell they salt bayed them.
That's what the judges are going to know.
After they were done in the aluminum foil, we made an awesome glaze using some sweet barbecue sauce and the liquid that was in the aluminum foil. We cut these down to the bone, picked out the 6 best pieces and glazed these as much as we could, put them in the turn-in box, tried to make it look as pretty as possible, and took it off to the judges. Now you'll see that there's not as much content on the other 3 categories because I was really focused on the food. But here you can see we were trimming up this pork shoulder. We got as much of that fat out of there as we could. We cut the money muscle down so that it was exposed as much as possible. We injected this and we rubbed it down so it could sit in that rub and injection all night until it was time to go on the smoker. And we smoked this on the pellet smoker. We had a probe in each one to make sure we could regulate the temperature. And this thing was beautiful. The money muscle sliced so well, we pulled it at 185 and let the other keep cooking until about 200 degrees. We glazed this as well, and here's a picture of it. Now for the ribeye. I have to send a special thank you out to Grill Grates. They hooked us up with these grill grates right before this competition. This helped us out so much. Without these grill grates, we would not have had this awesome presentation. And I don't know that we would have ended up with reserve grand champion. So thank you to them. I can't wait to keep using these. We'll have more videos in the near future about these grill grates. But we cooked this ribeye for a few minutes on each side. Took some rosemary, garlic butter to finish it. But then it was time for the chicken. Luckily, I do have some footage of me doing a practice round from last week, so I can kind of show you what we did. For the chicken, we just pulled this skin off. We squared up the chicken and cut off as much of the fat as we could. Then we squared up the skin, we scraped as much of the fat off of it as we could and rolled it up. At the competition, we let it sit in the rub overnight as well. We smoked this for a few hours, and then we dunked it in this sweet, tangy barbecue sauce. I wasn't very happy with the way the skin drew up. I should have had a little bit more on there. I was not very happy with that, but we still finished up 4th overall in the chicken.
Move on to the rib category. Ribs. The shoulder category, pull cord, start to place, road food go. Third grand champion for the 2021 barbecue cook-off, road food go.
Being our first competition, we were so surprised to hear our name called one time, much less 3, and with the reserve grand champion. Special thanks to Dustin, Ross, and Tommy for helping us out. Hannah as well, you can see that she's getting the paycheck here. And we had so much fun doing this. It's safe to say that we're hooked on barbecue competitions and we'll be doing much more in the near future. There was so much great food, there were some great people involved, and we are so excited to continue cooking in these barbecue competitions. We've got some big things coming up, so we're so thankful for all your support. Please continue to follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube, and let us know what you want to see us cook next.